Welcome to Curious Minds Unmasked podcast, where we uncover the hidden wonders of the world.
Ever seen one of those videos where a UFO makes a right angle turn, but it's going super fast, like faster than sound? It's crazy. How is that even possible? We're going to be diving into some seriously mind-bending theories about UFOs today. And get this, it involves time travel.
Yeah, and we're talking real physics here, not just science fiction. The idea is that UFOs might be coming from our future, not outer space.
We're talking about the work of Dr. Michael Masters. He's an anthropologist who thinks what we're seeing in the skies, these UFOs, they might be future humans, not aliens. He's written a couple of books on this, Identified Flying Objects and the Extratemporal Model for UFOs. And I don't know about you, but the thing that really got me was how he connects what UFOs look like to this whole time travel thing.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. He talks about this idea called form follows function. Basically, the shape of something tells you what it does. Like a bird's wings, they're perfectly designed for flying. What if those classic UFOs, the disc-shaped ones, what if that shape helps them travel through time?
Whoa. Okay, so we're talking about literally bending the fabric of reality. But before we go full sci-fi, let's back up a bit. How does Einstein's work on relativity fit into all of this? His theories of special and general relativity.
Oh, Einstein's theories, those are key to all of this.
Yeah.
He totally revolutionized how we think about time and space. One of his biggest breakthroughs was figuring out that time isn't constant, it's relative. The faster you move through space, the slower time moves for you. It's pretty wild.
Hold on, so you're saying time travel isn't just a made-up concept?
Nope, not at all. It's rooted in real science. One of the best examples is something called the twin paradox. Imagine two twins, right? One stays on Earth, and the other one, they blast off in a spaceship, going almost as fast as light. When that space-traveling twin comes back home, they'll have aged less than the twin who stayed on Earth. Time literally slowed down for them while they were traveling super fast.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. Okay, so we've got time moving at different speeds, but how does that connect to UFOs, appearing and disappearing like they do?
That's where Einstein's theory of general relativity comes in. That one says that massive objects can actually warp space-time. Imagine like a bowling ball on a trampoline.
Okay, it makes a dip in the trampoline.
Right. That's kind of what massive objects do to space-time. And that warping, that's what we experience as gravity.
So if big objects can bend space-time, could that be the key to bending time itself?
You got it. Now, picture this. What if you spin that bowling ball on the trampoline really, really fast?
Does it make the trampoline warp even more?
Exactly. Some physicists, like Frank Tipler, believe that if you had a supermassive object, something really, really big, and you spun it really fast, you could actually twist space-time enough to make time travel possible. We're talking about creating something called a closed time-like curve.
A closed time-like curve, that sounds intense. What is that exactly?
Basically, it's like a loop in space-time. Imagine you draw a circle on a piece of paper.
Okay, just a simple loop.
Right. Well, a closed time-like curve is like a loop in the fabric of the universe. And if you could travel along this loop, you could theoretically travel through time.
So you're saying those UFOs we see, especially those classic disc-shaped ones, they might be using their shape and spinning motion to create these loops in time.
That's the idea Dr. Masters is putting forward. And it can explain how they make those crazy movements, those sudden turns at impossible speeds. Maybe they're not breaking the laws of physics. They're just using a part of physics that we don't fully understand yet.
This is blowing my mind. But how do eyewitness accounts fit into all of this? They're always so hard to, prove or disprove.
Eyewitness accounts are interesting. I mean, people dismiss them, say they're unreliable, but I think they can give us clues if we look at them the right way, like puzzle pieces, right?
So you're saying they make more sense if we think of UFOs as, time machines?
Exactly. One example that always comes to mind is Corporal Armando Valdez. He said he encountered a landed UFO and experienced something really strange with time.
Wait, wasn't that where time seemed to pass differently for him?
Yeah. Valdez said he was gone for 5 days, but the people who were with him, they only experienced a 15-minute gap.
So what's the explanation? Did he wander off and lose track of time?
This is where it gets really weird. Dr. Masters thinks the UFO created a kind of sphere of influence around itself, like a bubble where time moves differently. Valdez might have stepped into this bubble, experienced 5 days, and then returned to almost the same moment he left.
He stepped into a time warp.
It's a crazy idea, but it fits with this whole concept of UFOs messing with time. It's like we think of movement in 3 dimensions, right? Like up and down, left and right. But with time, it's like there's a 4th dimension, and UFOs might be able to move through time just like we move through space.
So they might not just be from across the galaxy, they might be from different points in time, too.
Exactly. And that opens up a whole new set of questions, like where are they coming from and why?
And how come we haven't seen more of them if they're zipping around all the time? Okay, so let's say these UFOs are time travelers, right? Zipping back and forth through time. Shouldn't we be seeing them everywhere? Shouldn't space be like a cosmic highway with these things constantly coming and going?
It's a great question. And it kind of leads us to one of the biggest mysteries about alien life, the Fermi paradox.
The Fermi paradox. Remind me about that one.
Well, it basically asks, if there are so many alien civilizations out there,
And some scientists think there are, right?
right? It says, if there are so many out there, why haven't we found any evidence of them? Where is everybody?
Yeah, you'd think with all those stars and planets, someone would have, like, left us a message by now.
Exactly. But that's where Dr. Masters' theory gets interesting. What if they're not coming from across the galaxy? What if they're coming from our future?
Whoa. So instead of aliens, we're looking for future humans.
Think about it. If time travel is possible, they wouldn't have the same limits we do. Distance wouldn't matter as much. They could appear and disappear because they're messing with time itself.
Okay, I see what you mean. And if we're talking about beings from our future, it would explain why their technology always seems so much more advanced.
Exactly. Imagine what kind of tech we might have in 100 years, 500, 1,000. They'd be way ahead of us.
It makes you think about all those stories of the government, studying crashed UFOs.
You mean like they're trying to reverse engineer them? Trying to unlock the secrets of time travel?
Right. It sounds kind of crazy, but when you put it like that, it's not so far-fetched.
It's a pretty wild idea. And if Dr. Masters is right, and these are future humans, does that mean they know about us trying to figure out their tech? Are they watching us, studying us, maybe even, like, nudging us in certain directions?
Whoa. Okay, that's a thought. It's like they're historians from the future checking in on us.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what would future humans want to see about our time?
I guess it brings us back to why they're here. We get caught up in the how of time travel, but the why is just as interesting.
Totally. But speaking of interesting, let's talk about another thing that always gets people about UFOs. How fast they move and those crazy maneuvers.
Right, like those insane accelerations, changing direction on a dime, those right-angle turns. It's like they're breaking the laws of physics. How is that possible?
Well, Dr. Masters tells this story about a conversation he had with someone who claimed to be ex-intelligence. This guy gave him a truly wild explanation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did this insider say?
He suggested that the speed and the way UFOs move, it might be an illusion, like a side effect of them manipulating space-time. So they're not moving through space the way we think of it, but bending space-time around them to create the illusion of movement.
So instead of flying like a plane, they're warping space itself to get around.
Imagine a flat piece of paper, and there's a bug crawling across it.
Okay, I can picture that.
We see the bug moving in a straight line.
Right.
Now, crumple up that piece of paper. The bug is still going straight on the paper, but to us, it looks like it's moving all over the place, right?
Right, I get it. So those crazy turns UFOs make, maybe they're not actually turning. It's just us seeing their movement through warped space-time.
Precisely. And here's another thing. This bending of space-time, it could also explain why those inside the UFO wouldn't feel those crazy G-forces.
Because they're not actually experiencing those forces. It's all about their frame of reference within that warped space-time, right?
Exactly. Think about being in a car moving at a steady speed. You don't feel the movement unless it speeds up, slows down, or turns. If the UFO is warping space-time around it, those inside wouldn't feel the effects because they're not technically accelerating or turning.
Okay, that is seriously mind-blowing. But also kind of elegant, The answer to how UFOs move might be in the fabric of reality itself.
And it makes us rethink everything we thought we knew about movement, speed, even reality itself.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these far-out ideas can change how we understand the universe.
It's like the universe is playing hide and seek, and the clues are right there if we know where to look.
And maybe, just maybe, these UFOs, these time travelers, they're leaving those clues for us, hoping that one day we'll figure it out.
That's a pretty amazing thought. But where does that leave us now? I mean, have we actually solved the mystery of UFOs and time travel? So where are we now? We've gone deep on time travel, UFOs. I mean, have we cracked the code?
I think we just got more questions now, haha. But isn't that what makes this so fascinating? The thing is, This whole idea, UFOs as time machines, it sounds like pure science fiction. But then you start digging into the physics, the eyewitness accounts, and it kind of makes a weird kind of sense.
It's like all those things that seem so strange, the shapes of UFOs, those impossible movements, those stories from people who say time went wonky around UFOs. Suddenly it all starts fitting together if you think about time travel.
Totally. Like that quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Maybe what we're seeing with UFOs is not magic, but tech so advanced it might as well be.
And maybe that's the answer to how they're shaped, how they move. If they are time machines, maybe those designs aren't just for looks.
Right. Remember that idea. Form follows function. If the goal is to navigate through time, then those spinning disks, those sudden movements, it's all part of how it works. Makes you think about what's really possible.
It's exciting, but kind of scary too. But if there are people from the future out there and they've figured out time travel, what's that mean for us? Are they just watching us, or are they messing with our history, leaving us clues, hoping we'll figure it out?
Big questions, right? And we might not have the answers anytime soon, maybe never.
It's like we need to look past what we think we know, what we see every day, and imagine something truly incredible.
And that's what I take away from all of this. It's not just about UFOs or time travel. It's about being open to how big and mysterious the universe is. What we can't understand today might be possible, might even be waiting for us to find it.
So even if we never actually time travel ourselves, even if it's always theoretical, just thinking about it is valuable.
Absolutely. The universe is full of stuff we can't even imagine. And maybe just by asking these questions, by daring to imagine the impossible, we're taking the first steps on a path that'll lead to even bigger discoveries someday.
Well, this deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. Listeners, if you're anything like me, you're looking up at the sky right now with a whole new perspective. Maybe those lights we see aren't just satellites or weather balloons. Maybe, just maybe, they're glimpses into the future, a future that's closer than we think. Thanks for coming along on this incredible journey with us. We'll see you on our next deep dive into the unknown.